and over here there's one swinging open. But you don't, because you want the outcome. You've got a preconceived idea of the outcome. Bang, open the bloody door. It's not opening. And when you read that language of life, this is not working. Why is this not working? This door's not opening for me. So either it's not meant to open, or I have to go about it another way. Either way, I have to change what I'm doing. And what changed my life is when I decided that I wasn't going to have outcomes. I was going to flow with where life took me. Where it synchronized and where it flowed, I would go with it. Where there was blocks and barriers, I was going to not go there. Because a lot of, in so many ways, life can be symbolized as walking through a maze. Now you can decide you're going down this channel, and nothing's going to stop you because you want that outcome. And what happens? What happens? There's a big block at the end. It doesn't go anywhere. It's a cul-de-sac. And if you follow the language of life, like when I look at my life over the last 20 years, it's like being walking through a maze. But some force has been saying, nope, not down there, down there. Okay, only so far, now down there. And what's led me through it has been intuition, not head, intuition. Whether it felt right. Was there a synchronistic flow here that was saying go there? And instead of trying to work it out here, just let life flow. Because what you're connecting to when you do that is that level of all of us that can see the journey from source to sea. You get the only see the next turn in the river out the bloody way. And most people are in here, they're trying to work it out. They want proof of everything. They want to be persuaded and convinced of everything. Whereas if you just flow with life, is it working? Is it flowing? Okay, well, I'm going with this. If it's not, well, I'll go with where it does flow. And that will take you through the door that's swinging open, instead of your mind saying, no, I want to do this, I want this outcome. I have no outcome. I have no outcome in my mind of where I want to go. I just know I'm going to go with the flow tomorrow, and that's the end of it. And it makes life so much easier, because instead of you opening doors, doors open for you. Why? Because you're meant to go through them, and outcomes are real. They're real prisons, I was talking to Credo Mutwa in South Africa last August, and he was going through a real period of retrospection, because he's coming up to his 90th year. When he became a high shaman, his job was to keep the information and pass it on, and to serve his people and look after his people. That was it, right? So over this period of his life, of course, there's been tremendous changes in South Africa, and while people in places like America have had the ability to go through this process of following the material dream and finding it wanting, a lot in developing countries, they haven't had that ability, because they haven't had a material dream. But so to them, it's still the symbol of success, because everything's telling Hollywood and all the things they get telling them that. And so a lot of people in those countries like South Africa, they've turned away from the old ways, because it's the Nike trainers and stuff. And that's made it more and more difficult for people like Credo. And he's looking at it in retrospect, and he's saying, I'm a failure. I've failed my people. I've failed, And I said to him, look, if you think of outcomes, then you might think failure. But it's not about outcomes. Every single day, coming up to his 90th year with tremendous health problems, he's getting more and more frail. He gets up every day and says, what do I do for my people? How can I help my people? He's kind of building a hospital for AIDS patients and abused children behind his house. He's coming up to 90. So the outcome doesn't just depend on us like that. It depends on whether people want to know, and lots of them don't. But that's not Credo's fault. because he's done his best. And so at the end of his life's a massive success because he's done what he knew to be right all the way through it. Even though on an outcome level he might have said, well, you know, I failed. He hasn't. And once you create outcomes, you're setting yourself up for failure. You go to a football match. You're really focused on an outcome. My team must win. Any other result, you've had a bad day. You go to the football match and you think, I'm going to enjoy the game. I'd like that team to win, but I'm not really totally fussed on it. And the other team's got skill as well. Hey, see how he's throwing that ball? Look at that guy. And whether you win, lose or draw your team, you still had a good day because you're not focused and controlled by outcomes. And if you look at it, all the time, right through school, all over the world, kids are told to have an outcome. What's your ambition? What do you want to be? And it's all right to have those things, but we need to be more fluid about let life lead us, because, you know, that level of us that made the decision to come into this reality in the situation we came into it, is the kind of expanded consciousness that near-death experiences experience, when suddenly from being like that they go, woo, they're perceiving multiple levels at the same time. There is no time, there is no space, hey, everything's one, all this stuff. That's the level that decides. Then the level that's experiencing directly then has to work out why it would decide to come in here. And it can get completely lost by outcomes, by being programmed from an early age. You must have ambition. What's your outcome? And your parents, I'd like you to be a banker because it'd be good for me because then I can say my son's a banker, and all this stuff. And those conscious mind programmed outcomes can, and do in most people, disconnect you from this flow, from that level that made the decision to come in here, that wants to take you on a journey. And that's why when you break out of mind-dominated decision-making, life starts to become more of an adventure instead of a trudge. And you might not make as much money as you would sitting in an office in San Francisco from, I don't know, 8 to 5 or 6 every day. When you know what you're going to be doing next week, and next Tuesday, and next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, then if you go with the flow, and life's an adventure, you know. I was a television presenter. I went into the BBC, I did my programs, I went home. Then the top of my head blew off. And I went on this adventure, and I've just had the most incredible 20 years. Not all of it nice, but all of it incredible. Because the source to sea is guiding me, not the next turn on the river. And that's what that is what the transformation's about, moving from that state to that state. Because then we're in the world, but we're not of it. Most people are in the world and of it, and that's why they're lost. They've got no roadmap, no radar.
So David, if I could put a magic microphone in front of you and you had 30 seconds to talk to every single person on the planet, and you could speak from your heart, really from presence, what would you consider the most valuable information to give everybody on the planet all at once?
Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Because what I'm saying, what other people are saying, is nothing that everyone listening anywhere doesn't already know. Right. We've just forgotten because we're in an amnesic state. Remember who you are. The world will be transformed.